In an age of swords and empires, the most powerful tool of diplomacy was an elephant. In 802 CE, a creature of legend arrived at the court of Charlemagne, the most powerful ruler in Europe. This elephant, Abul-Abbas, had journeyed thousands of miles from Baghdad, a gift from the Abbasid Caliph Harun al-Rashid. But this was no mere curiosity. It was a living, breathing piece of geopolitical strategy. Why would a Muslim caliph send such an incredible gift to a Christian emperor? And how does its epic journey reveal the hidden chessboard of medieval power politics? This is the story of Charlemagne and his elephant, Abul-Abbas. Chapter 1: A World of Three Empires. To understand why an elephant was sent from Baghdad to Aachen, we must first grasp the high-stakes game of power that defined Charlemagne's world. His Frankish kingdom was wedged between mighty rivals with overlapping ambitions. The story begins with the Muslim conquest of Iberia in 711, when Umayyad forces crossed from North Africa and swiftly overwhelmed the Visigothic kingdom. This conquest was part of a broader wave of expansion that had already swept across the Middle East and North Africa. Emboldened by their success in Spain, Muslim armies continued northward across the Pyrenees, raiding deep into Frankish territory and threatening the very heart of Christian Europe. It was this northward push that brought them into direct conflict with Charles Martel, Charlemagne's grandfather. In 732, at the Battle of Tours, Martel decisively halted the Muslim advance, a moment celebrated as saving Christian Europe from conquest. However, while the immediate threat was contained, the Umayyads retained control of the Iberian Peninsula, establishing a powerful and enduring presence at Europe's doorstep. For nearly 2 decades, this Umayyad state in Spain grew stronger and more sophisticated. But in 750, a violent revolution in the Eastern Islamic world changed everything. The Abbasid dynasty seized power in Baghdad, systemically hunting down and massacring the Umayyad family to eliminate any potential rivals. Only one prince, Abd al-Rahman, managed to escape the bloodbath. Abd al-Rahman fled westward across North Africa, eventually reaching Spain in 755. There, he rallied Umayyad loyalists and established an independent emirate of Cordoba in 756, creating a bitter rival to the new Abbasid Caliphate. This wasn't merely a political split, it was a deeply personal vendetta between two dynasties, each claiming to be the rightful leaders of the Islamic world. By Charlemagne's time, this meant the Umayyad Emirate of Cordoba had become a formidable neighbor wielding military, cultural, and economic power that continuously pressured the Frankish southern border. The Umayyads hadn't forgotten their northern ambitions, launching periodic raids and maintaining political influence that kept Charlemagne's southern frontier in constant tension. Charlemagne's response was multifaceted. Beyond warfare, he recognized that the Umayyad presence represented a clash of civilizations. He launched military campaigns while fortifying the Spanish March, territories like Barcelona and Girona that served as both shield and sword against Umayyad power. The situation was further complicated by internal Muslim politics, which Charlemagne learned to exploit. He forged alliances with rebellious governors who chafed under Cordoba's rule, using these divisions to fracture Umayyad unity. This delicate balance between warfare and diplomacy became a defining feature of his reign, creating a pragmatic but uneasy coexistence along the southern frontier. This persistent southern threat created a strategic imperative for Charlemagne. To counterbalance Umayyad power, he needed to find allies beyond his immediate sphere. Meanwhile, to the east loomed the Byzantine Empire, still claiming to be the sole legitimate heir to Roman authority. The throne was held by Empress Irene of Athens, but Pope Leo III and Western leaders questioned whether a woman could legitimately hold imperial office. Using this as justification, the Pope crowned Charlemagne, Emperor of the Romans, in 800, directly challenging Byzantine supremacy. This coronation ignited the problem of two emperors. Emperor Nikephoros I reacted furiously. Naval battles erupted over Venice and Dalmatian territories, beginning a decade-long rivalry. the Byzantines saw Charlemagne's title as both a usurpation and a threat to their centuries-old claim to Roman legitimacy. Only in 812 did Emperor Michael I, facing his own military pressures, grudgingly recognize Charlemagne's imperial status. This recognition didn't end the rivalry but formalized the division between Eastern and Western Christendom. Caught between a resentful empire in the east and a hostile caliphate in the south, Charlemagne needed a powerful ally who shared his enemies. The Abbasids in Baghdad, bitter enemies of both the Umayyads and the Byzantines, represented the perfect strategic partner. If you're enjoying this exploration of medieval geopolitics and the complex world that shaped Charlemagne's decisions, please hit like and subscribe. Subscribing really helps me achieve my goals of bringing these detailed historical stories to you. Now, let's follow the incredible journey of the diplomatic mission that would bring an elephant from Baghdad to Europe. Chapter 2: The Caliph's Gift. Understanding this complex web of rivalries, Charlemagne reached out to the Abbasid Caliphate in Baghdad, ruled by the renowned Harun al-Rashid. The logic was elegant in its simplicity. The enemy of his enemy could become a powerful friend. In 797, he dispatched a delegation of 3 envoys to Baghdad, led by Isaac the Jew. Jewish diplomats and merchants occupied unique positions in the medieval world, often fluent in multiple languages and capable of navigating the complex cultural boundaries between Christian and Muslim territories. Their extensive trading networks and diplomatic experience made them invaluable intermediaries in such delicate negotiations. The journey proved as perilous as it was ambitious. Of the 3 envoys who set out, Isaac was made sole survivor of what became a grueling 5-year round-trip expedition, a testament to the dangers of traversing vast distances through politically volatile regions in an age of limited transportation and constant warfare. Isaac returned bearing extraordinary gifts that symbolized both Abbasid wealth and their serious commitment to alliance. Chief among those gifts was Abul-Abbas, a magnificent Asian elephant whose very presence would announce to all of Europe the scope of Charlemagne's diplomatic reach. From Baghdad, the glittering city of peace and vibrant center of Islamic learning, science, and culture, Abul-Abbas began an epic journey that would test both man and beast. The route took them across the scorching deserts of Sinai, along the fertile banks of the Nile through Egypt, and across the shifting political landscape of Africa in North Africa, where local governors allied to the Abbasids provided crucial assistance and safe passage. The Mediterranean crossing presented entirely new challenges. For a massive land animal, the unfamiliar sensation of a rocking ship and confined quarters must have been deeply distressing. Yet somehow, the elephant endured this trial, landing in early October 801 at the small Italian port of Porto Venere near Genoa. For the local population, Abul-Abbas's arrival was nothing short of miraculous. No elephant had been seen in Europe since Roman times, and some sources suggest this particular elephant may have been an albino, a rare white elephant that would have seemed almost supernatural to medieval eyes. The challenges weren't over. After wintering in the northern Italian town of Vercelli to avoid the worst of alpine snows, the elephant and his caretakers faced perhaps the greatest test, crossing the treacherous mountain passes of the Alps. The bitter cold, treacherous footing, and thin air at altitude created conditions entirely alien to a creature from the warm lands of Asia. Finally, on July 20th, 802, this remarkable procession reached Aachen, the beating heart of Charlemagne's realm and the symbol of renewed imperial authority in the West. The elephant's arrival caused a sensation that reverberated through the court and beyond. Abul-Abbas, with his towering frame, flexible trunk, and thick, weathered skin, was more than an exotic curiosity. He was a living symbol of Charlemagne's diplomatic sophistication and international connections. The elephant was accompanied by other gifts equally designed to impress. Intricately carved ivory horns, silk robes embroidered with elegant Arabic calligraphy proclaiming Islamic monotheism, precious perfumes that carried the scents of distant lands, bolts of luxurious silk that showcased Eastern weaving techniques, and delicately crafted brass candlesticks that demonstrated Islamic metalworking skills. Perhaps most impressive of all was a sophisticated water clock. a marvel of medieval engineering that released brass balls to strike the hours while miniature horsemen paraded through the small windows in an intricate mechanical ballet. This timepiece represented the pinnacle of Abbasid scientific achievement, bringing the advanced learning of Baghdad's scholars directly into the more martial and rustic environment of Charlemagne's court. Chapter 3: The Elephant's Legacy. At Charlemagne's court, Abul-Abbas was far more than an exotic pet or curiosity. Contemporary chronicles suggest the elephant became the emperor's favorite companion, participating in court ceremonies and possibly even accompanying Charlemagne on military campaigns as a living embodiment of imperial authority and international prestige. Some historians speculate that Charlemagne may have intended to deploy Abul-Abbas as a war elephant, a terrifying psychological weapon drawing on ancient military traditions where elephants were used to panic enemy horses and soldiers. However, no contemporary sources provide definitive evidence of such battlefield deployment. What is clear is that politically and symbolically, the elephant epitomized Charlemagne's sophisticated diplomatic balancing act. Abul-Abbas represented friendship with the Abbasids in the distant east, ongoing rivalry with the Byzantines in the southeast, and continued conflict with the Umayyads in Spain. All the complex relationships that defined Charlemagne's strategic position. For 8 years, this remarkable creature served as a living reminder of the interconnected world of medieval diplomacy. But in 810, during a northern campaign against Danish forces who threatened Charlemagne's Baltic frontier, Abul-Abbas met his end near the Lippe River. The harsh northern climate, so different from his Asian origins, likely caused pneumonia that claimed his life. His death was solemnly recorded in the royal Frankish Annals. Chronicles typically focused on the deeds of kings and the outcomes of battles. That medieval chroniclers took note of an elephant's passing speaks volumes about the extraordinary impression Abul-Abbas had made on the consciousness of the age. Far from being merely a historical curiosity, Abul-Abbas's remarkable journey fundamentally challenges common mischaracterizations of the medieval period as a dark age of isolation and ignorance. Instead, his story reveals a world intricately connected through diplomacy, cultural exchange, and the symbolic power of magnificent gifts that could carry political messages across vast distances and cultural divides. If this fascinating journey through medieval politics, diplomacy, and exotic gifts has captured your interest, please do hit like and subscribe. Your support helps bring more detailed explorations of history's extraordinary moments like this one. And as always, thank you for watching. You can find my sources below and see you in the next one.